G'day and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to sort out your first layer once and for all. On my printer, I've got the upgraded Creality springs. Now these springs are good for getting a perfect first layer, but you'll find out that after a couple of prints, you have to set up your printer again to get a good first layer. Now, the reason for that is that when your printer is moving backwards and forwards, this causes a bit of vibration. Now, because you are using springs, and let me just drop you down a bit, then you can see what I'm talking about. Because you are using springs down here, this causes tension on your bed. You can see I can move it here. So your bed is constantly under tension. So the tension is all that's keeping this knob from spinning freely. So with the vibration, this knob will tend to back off a bit. And when it backs off, your first layer is no longer perfect. The second issue with that is, because it's only held by tension, you'll see when I do this, the bed can move, but the plate underneath stays still. So the second issue with that is when you are trying to print faster, because of the inertia of the bed, because this is quite a bit of weight that you're trying to move around, when your bed gets to the end of its travel and it tries to stop, the bed will tend to move a bit before it stops because of this wiggle that it has. It's kind of like jelly, so it's not quite stiff. So there are ways to get around that. You can get a solid bed mount, but if you're not very good with what you're doing, you won't get it perfectly level. You'll have to play around with shims, or you'll have to have a machine shop that can machine it for you at the perfect level. But I found a better way to do it, and I'm going to show you now how you can get your bed level and it's not going to break the bank. So the first alternative, and this is something I've been using for the past couple of months, and it's been working brilliantly, is to simply take a normal M4 nut and use it as a jam nut at the bottom of this wheel. Now what that does is it prevents this nut from backing off while you are printing. It works great, but the issue with that is once you want to adjust the bed, it is a bit difficult to do adjustments. The reason for that is you will need to have a spanner to loosen the nut, and then you can adjust the bed. It won't be able to adjust the bed while this nut is in place because it is acting as a jam nut, preventing the screw from turning inside the nut. The second thing I found, and this is not my original idea, I will see if I can find the video and link it below, is if you take two nuts and wind it all the way up to the top, and then take two wing nuts and use that at the bottom instead of the wheels, and adjust it with the two wing nuts. So basically you will have the one wing nut for going up and the one wing nut for going down. You will take the top wing nut and loosen that, so it will give you a gap. Then you will take the bottom wing nut and tighten that to lower your bed. If you want to go the opposite way, you will take the bottom wing nut and loosen that, then your bed will go in the opposite direction. And to ensure that your bed doesn't short out, because now it's metal on metal contact, you can just take one of these nylon washers. Then there will be electrical isolation between your bed and the nut that you will use to tighten at the top. I've now taken off the bed and I'll show you how to install the mod. There you can see all the parts laid out, one for each screw. And we'll start on this side. So you first take off the screw, then you take the nylon washer and you insert the washer all the way down so it makes contact with the bed. I have insulation on my bed, so on your bed will probably be easier. But make sure that it makes contact with the bottom of the bed and there's not something in the way. On my bed I'm just going to use the spring to press it all the way down. And you take the nut, you wind it all the way to the bottom of the bed. Just keep the screw still while you tighten the nut. And then that one is tight. Then you take the second one, tighten it on top of that one. This will act in the same way as the jam nut did on the bottom of the wheel, making sure that the screw doesn't spin. And you'll see that this screw is now rigid and this one's free to move. So now you have a rigid screw, and that's the installation of the bed done. And once you're done installing all the nuts, you can take a wing nut, but make sure to invert the wing nut, because remember, once you install it on the bed, it will be the other way around. And you have to install the wing nuts now, because once you put it on the bed you won't be able to install the top wing nuts, and widen them all the way down as far as you can. Now you can install the bed back onto the machine. And this is it. The mod is finally done. So if you want to change the height of your bed, what you do is you start by twisting, dropping this, and then you can lift up. Then you can change the top one here. It's currently very close, so it's a bit difficult, but you just twist here and then your bed will lift up. And once you've got your height, you just lock it in with the bottom one, and now it's fixed. It can't go anywhere. You see the bottom frame is moving, not the bed. And what the side to side movement is, you see I'm moving the entire frame. I'm not moving the bed anymore. So this means the bed is much more stiffer. There's not as much play because there's no more spring tension here holding your bed. It's now a solid mount, but this solid mount is now adjustable. If you want more data, stick around to the end of the video where I will have the results of the bed leveling before and after. Thank you very much for watching.